The silence that followed the sharp, splintering crack was deafening, a sudden vacuum in the bustling classroom. All eyes, 100 curious, judging pinpricks, swiveled to her. Her cheeks, already flushed with the anxiety of a new beginning, burned a furious crimson. "I'm sorry, I broke the chair," she whispered, the words barely audible, swallowed by the sudden, uncomfortable stillness. A ripple of suppressed giggles, then outright laughter, spread like wildfire. For most, it was a fleeting moment of awkward amusement, quickly forgotten. But for her, it was the day the world seemed to shrink, to solidify around a single, humiliating truth. What if this moment, this public stumble, wasn't an ending, but a catalyst? What if the quiet shame she felt was merely the prelude to an unyielding roar of self-discovery? This is the story of a young woman who, in the face of an unexpected humiliation, found the courage to redefine not just herself, but how an entire room learned to see beyond the surface, proving that true confidence isn't about fitting in, but about bravely standing out. If this powerful opening has already captured your heart and curiosity, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Your support helps this channel grow and allows us to bring more deeply human and inspiring narratives like this one to life. Thank you. The first day of college was supposed to be a fresh start, a blank canvas. For Anya Coraline, it felt more like walking into a spotlight she desperately wanted to avoid. The sprawling campus of Northwood University, nestled in the vibrant heart of a bustling American city, hummed with an energy that felt both exhilarating and utterly terrifying. Students, sleek and confident, flowed through the pathways, their laughter echoing off the historic brick buildings. Anya, in her late teens, moved with a quiet hesitancy, her plus-size frame feeling conspicuously large amidst the sea of youthful exuberance. Her long, dark hair, usually a comforting curtain around her face, was pulled back today, exposing cheeks that already felt warm with apprehension. Her dark, expressive eyes, usually quick to observe, darted nervously, trying to blend in, to become invisible. Her first class, Introduction to Modern Literature, was in a grand old lecture hall, rows of wooden desks and chairs ascending towards a high ceiling. Anya arrived early, hoping to secure a seat near the back, away from prying eyes. She found an empty spot in the third row, a strategic compromise between invisibility and visibility. As she carefully lowered herself into the chair, a sharp, sickening crack echoed through the still empty room. Anya froze. Her heart leaped into her throat. She slowly pushed herself up, her eyes wide with horror. The backrest of the wooden chair had splintered, a jagged piece of wood hanging precariously. A wave of heat washed over her, from her scalp to her toes. Her worst fear, the one that whispered to her in quiet moments, had just materialized in the most public way possible. Just then, a few other students began to trickle in. Their chatter died as they noticed the broken chair. Then Anya, standing beside it, her face a mask of mortification. A nervous giggle broke the silence, quickly followed by another, then a small wave of snickers. "I'm sorry, I broke the chair," Anya whispered, her voice trembling, barely audible above the growing murmur. She felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes, a familiar sting of shame. Professor Lysander Hayes, a man with kind eyes and a distinguished silver beard, entered the room at that exact moment. He paused, taking in the scene. Anya, mortified, the broken chair, and the hushed, amused whispers of the early arrivals. His gaze, though gentle, was piercing. "All right, everyone, settle down," Professor Hayes said, his voice calm but firm. He walked over to Anya, his expression unreadable. "Anya, is everything all right?" "Yes, Professor," Anya mumbled, avoiding eye contact. The chair, I'm so sorry." Professor Hayes looked at the chair, then back at Anya. "These old chairs can be quite fragile, Anya. It's certainly not your fault. We'll get it replaced. Please, find another seat." He then turned to the class, his voice carrying a subtle warning. "Accidents happen. Let's remember to extend grace to one another, especially on the first day." The laughter died down, replaced by a few awkward coughs. Anya, her cheeks still burning, quickly found an empty seat in the very last row, shrinking into herself. The rest of the class filled up, and she spent the entire lecture feeling the phantom weight of eyes on her, convinced that everyone was still thinking about the broken chair, about her. If Anya's heartbreaking first day, and the professor's quiet intervention are already resonating with you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. After class, Anya practically fled the lecture hall, desperate to escape the lingering stares. She bumped into Fiona Astor, her best friend from high school, who was waiting for her outside. Fiona, with her bright, bubbly personality and quick wit, was the perfect foil to Anya's shyness. "Anya, how was your first class?" Fiona asked, her eyes sparkling. Anya's shoulders slumped. "Horrible, Fiona. Absolutely horrible. I broke a chair. On the first day. In front of everyone." She recounted the incident, her voice thick with humiliation. Fiona's eyes widened. "Oh, Anya, no. That's awful. But hey, it's just a chair. Those old things probably needed replacing anyway. Don't let it get to you. Easy for you to say," Anya mumbled, kicking at a loose pebble. Everyone was laughing. "I just wanted to disappear. They're probably just immature," Fiona said, putting an arm around Anya's shoulders. "Come on, let's go grab some coffee. You need to pick me up." Despite Fiona's efforts, the incident gnawed at Anya. It wasn't just about the chair. It was about the feeling of being seen, of being judged, of her size being the focal point. All her life, she had tried to minimize herself, to take up less space, to avoid drawing attention. The broken chair had shattered that illusion. That evening, Anya called her parents, Mr. Silas Thorne and Mrs. Maeve Thorne. They were her rock, always supportive, always loving. "How was your first day, sweetie?" Mrs. Thorne asked, her voice warm. Anya hesitated, then decided to tell them. "It was eventful. I broke a chair in my literature class." A beat of silence. Then, Mr. Thorne chuckled softly. "Anya, honey, those old university chairs are probably ancient. It's not your fault. Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Dad," Anya said, though her voice still held a tremor. "It was just embarrassing. Everyone stared." "Well, let them stare," Mrs. Thorne said, her voice firm but gentle. "You are a brilliant, kind, beautiful young woman, Anya. A broken chair doesn't change that, and anyone who judges you for something so trivial isn't worth your time. You go back in there tomorrow with your head held high. You belong there." Her parents' unwavering support was a comfort, but the sting of the incident lingered. Anya knew they were right, but the emotional weight of the moment was hard to shake. If Anya's parents' loving support and her struggle with self-consciousness are touching your heart, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. The next few days were a blur of new classes, new faces, and a constant, low-level anxiety for Anya. She made sure to arrive early for her literature class, always choosing a sturdy-looking chair and sitting down with exaggerated caution. She tried to make herself small, to avoid eye contact, to simply get through each day unnoticed. In her literature class, she started to observe her classmates. Calliope Callie Vance, a slender girl with sharp features, was one of the first to giggle at the broken chair. She often sat with Cyrus Sterling, a tall, athletic young man who seemed to exude an easy confidence. They were part of a popular clique, their conversations often punctuated by hushed whispers and knowing glances. Anya felt their eyes on her sometimes, and she would quickly look away, her cheeks warming. Despite her shyness, Anya was a brilliant student. She loved literature, devoured books, and possessed a keen analytical mind. During discussions, she often had insightful observations, but she rarely spoke up, afraid of drawing attention to herself. When Professor Hayes posed a particularly challenging question about symbolism in a classic novel, Anya's hand instinctively twitched, but she quickly pulled it back. Professor Hayes, however, had a knack for drawing out even the most reticent students. He often paused, letting the silence hang, encouraging deeper thought. His eyes would sweep the room, and sometimes they would linger on Anya. One afternoon, during a particularly engaging discussion about character development, Professor Hayes asked a question that stumped the class. A long silence ensued. Anya, despite her fear, felt an answer forming in her mind, a nuanced interpretation that she felt was crucial. Her heart pounded. "Anya," Professor Hayes said, his voice gentle, "do you have a thought you'd like to share?" Anya's head snapped up. She hadn't raised her hand. He had simply called on her. Her mind went blank for a second. Then the words tumbled out, hesitant at first, then gaining confidence as she spoke. She articulated her interpretation with clarity and depth, drawing connections that no one else had considered. When she finished, the classroom was silent, but this time, it was a silence of genuine thought, not amusement. Professor Hayes nodded slowly, a thoughtful expression on his face. "Excellent, Anya," he said, his voice filled with genuine approval. "That's a very insightful perspective. You've hit upon a crucial point that many overlook." A faint blush spread across Anya's cheeks, but this time, it wasn't from shame. It was from a quiet pride. A few students, including Callie Vance and Cyrus Sterling, actually turned to look at her, their expressions not of mockery, but of surprise, perhaps even respect. If Anya's quiet brilliance and Professor Hayes' encouraging approach are inspiring you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. The small victory in class was a fragile seed, but it began to sprout. Anya started to speak up more often, still hesitant, but gaining confidence with each positive interaction. Professor Hayes continued to encourage her, sometimes with a subtle nod, sometimes with a direct question that invited her unique perspective. He saw beyond her shyness, beyond her size, to the sharp intellect and thoughtful spirit within. Fiona noticed the change. "You're really coming out of your shell, Anya," she exclaimed one day over lunch. "Professor Hayes really sees you, doesn't he?" "He does," Anya admitted, a small smile playing on her lips. "He makes me feel like my ideas matter, even if I'm not the loudest person in the room." One afternoon, Anya was studying in the library when she overheard Callie Vance and Cyrus Sterling discussing a particularly challenging assignment for their literature class. They were struggling with a complex literary theory. Anya, who had already mastered the concept, hesitated, then, taking a deep breath, walked over to their table. "Excuse me," she said softly. "I couldn't help but overhear. Are you having trouble with the post-structuralist theory?" Callie and Cyrus looked up, surprised. Callie's expression was initially dismissive, but Cyrus seemed intrigued. "Yeah, it's a nightmare," Cyrus admitted. "Professor Hayes makes it sound so simple, but I just can't wrap my head around it. I might be able to help," Anya offered, her voice still quiet, but firm. "I found that if you think of it this way," she then proceeded to explain the theory with remarkable clarity, breaking down complex ideas into easily digestible concepts, using examples that made sense. Callie and Cyrus listened, their initial skepticism slowly replaced by genuine understanding. When Anya finished, Cyrus looked at her, genuinely impressed. "Wow, Anya, that actually makes sense. Thank you." Callie, though still a bit reserved, nodded. "Yeah, thanks. That was really helpful." Anya felt a small thrill of accomplishment. She hadn't just understood the material. She had helped others understand it. It was a different kind of validation, one that had nothing to do with her size and everything to do with her mind. The incident with the broken chair still lingered in her memory, a painful reminder of her first day. But now, it was slowly being overshadowed by these new moments of connection, of recognition, of quiet triumph. She was beginning to understand that confidence wasn't about being thin or loud or popular. It was about knowing her own worth, about having the courage to share her voice, even if it trembled. The shy, plus-size student who had broken a chair was slowly, steadily, beginning to build something far more resilient, an unshakable belief in herself. The journey was just beginning, but the seeds of change had been sown, promising a transformation that would surprise everyone, most of all, Anya herself. If Anya's journey of finding her voice and the subtle shifts in her classmates' perceptions are inspiring you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. The small seed of confidence planted by Professor Lysander Hayes' encouragement and Anya Coraline's own quiet triumph in helping Callie Vance and Cyrus Sterling understand a complex literary theory began to take root. The initial shame of the broken chair still lingered, a faint echo in the back of her mind, but it no longer paralyzed her. Instead, it had become a strange kind of fuel, a constant reminder of her resolve to redefine herself, not just for others, but for herself. Anya's presence in the Introduction to Modern Literature class began to shift. She no longer sought the anonymity of the back row, often choosing a seat a few rows closer to the front, where she could better engage with Professor Hayes' lectures. Her hand, once hesitant, now rose more frequently. Her voice, though still soft, carried a newfound clarity and conviction. Her insights were consistently thoughtful, often offering perspectives that enriched the class discussions. Professor Hayes, with his discerning eye, noticed this transformation. He would often nod approvingly, sometimes even pausing to allow Anya to elaborate on her points, giving her space to shine. Fiona Astor, her ever-supportive friend, was thrilled by Anya's burgeoning confidence. "I told you, Anya. You're brilliant," Fiona exclaimed one afternoon as they walked across campus, the crisp autumn air rustling through the golden leaves. "Everyone's starting to see it, even Callie and Cyrus." Anya smiled, a genuine, unself-conscious smile that reached her hazel eyes. "It's still hard sometimes, Fiona. I still feel like everyone's looking at me, judging. But then I remember what Professor Hayes said, or what Mom and Dad said, and I just push through it." "That's courage, Anya," Fiona said, squeezing her arm. "That's real strength." If Anya's growing confidence and Fiona's unwavering support are warming your heart, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. The dynamic with Callie Vance and Cyrus Sterling had indeed begun to evolve. After Anya's impromptu tutoring session in the library, they approached her more frequently, initially with questions about assignments, then with more general academic discussions. Callie, still prone to a certain aloofness, would sometimes offer a curt, "Thanks, Anya," but Cyrus, with his more open demeanor, became genuinely appreciative. He started seeking her out before class, asking for her thoughts on the assigned readings, valuing her perspective. One afternoon, Professor Hayes announced a major group project, a critical analysis of a contemporary novel, culminating in a presentation to the class. Students were allowed to form their own groups of 3. Anya felt a familiar pang of anxiety. Group projects had always been a source of stress, fearing she would be seen as a burden. Before she could even consider asking Fiona, who was already in another group, Cyrus approached her. "Hey, Anya," he said, a slight hesitation in his voice. "Callie and I were wondering, would you want to join our group for the project? We could really use your insights." Anya was genuinely surprised. Callie, standing a few feet away, offered a small, almost imperceptible nod of agreement. This was a significant step. It wasn't just about academic help. It was an invitation, a recognition of her value as a peer. "Yes," Anya said, a quiet thrill running through her. "I'd like that very much." Working with Callie and Cyrus was an interesting experience. Callie was organized and efficient, but sometimes struggled with the deeper analytical aspects. Cyrus was good at research and presentation, but often overlooked subtle nuances in the text. Anya, with her profound understanding of literary theory and her ability to articulate complex ideas, became the intellectual anchor of the group. She didn't dominate, but she guided, offering suggestions, clarifying concepts, and helping to shape their arguments. During their first group meeting, held in a quiet corner of the library, Callie was initially reserved, but as Anya began to dissect the novel's themes, Callie found herself listening intently. Anya spoke with passion and clarity, her eyes alight with intellectual curiosity. She wasn't the shy, whispering girl who had broken a chair. She was a thoughtful, articulate scholar. "That's a really strong point, Anya," Callie admitted, a hint of surprise in her voice. "I hadn't thought of it that way." Cyrus nodded enthusiastically. "Yeah, Anya, you're really good at this. You should lead the discussion for our presentation." Anya felt a blush, but it was a blush of pleasure, not embarrassment. "I can certainly help structure it," she offered, her confidence growing with their trust. If Anya's leadership in her group project and the evolving respect from Callie and Cyrus are inspiring you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. As the semester progressed, Anya also found herself seeking out Ms. Evadne Reed, the university's student counselor. Ms. Reed was a kind, perceptive woman with a calming presence. Anya initially went to discuss her lingering anxiety about public speaking, a hurdle she knew she needed to overcome for the group presentation. "Anya," Ms. Reed said gently during one of their sessions, "it sounds like you've made incredible progress this semester. From what Professor Hayes has mentioned, and what I've observed, you're truly blossoming." Anya blushed. "I'm trying, but sometimes I still feel like that girl who broke the chair, like everyone's still looking at me, waiting for me to mess up." Ms. Reed smiled warmly. That's perfectly normal, Anya. Those feelings don't just vanish overnight. But here's what I see. I see a young woman who, despite a humiliating start, chose to stand up. You chose to engage. You chose to excel. That takes immense courage. And that courage is far more visible than any chair incident ever was. She continued. Your size is just one aspect of who you are, Anya. It doesn't define your intelligence, your kindness, or your capacity for leadership. You're proving that every day. And the people who truly matter, like Professor Hayes, like Fiona, like even Callie and Cyrus now, they see you, the whole you, not just a number on a scale or a broken piece of furniture. Ms. Reed's words were a powerful affirmation. They helped Anya understand that her journey wasn't about erasing the past, but about building a new narrative on top of it. The broken chair was a part of her story, but it was no longer the defining chapter. If Ms. Reed's insightful guidance and Anya's journey of self-acceptance are resonating with you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. The day of the group presentation arrived, bringing with it a fresh wave of nerves. Anya, Callie, and Cyrus stood at the front of the lecture hall, facing their classmates and Professor Hayes. Anya's heart pounded, a familiar flutter of anxiety. She could feel the weight of eyes on her, but this time, it felt different. It wasn't just judgment, it was anticipation. Callie began the presentation, articulate and well-prepared. Cyrus followed, delivering his research findings with confidence. Then it was Anya's turn to lead the critical analysis, the core of their argument. She took a deep breath, looked at Professor Hayes, then at her classmates, and began to speak. Her voice, initially a little shaky, quickly gained strength. She spoke with passion, drawing on her deep understanding of the novel, weaving together complex theories with elegant simplicity. She made eye contact, gestured naturally, and articulated her points with a clarity that captivated the room. She wasn't just reciting facts. She was sharing a profound understanding, inviting her audience into her intellectual world. As she spoke, Anya felt a profound shift. The fear began to recede, replaced by the sheer joy of sharing her knowledge, of connecting with her audience. She saw Professor Hayes nodding, a faint smile on his face. She saw Fiona beaming with pride. And she saw Callie and Cyrus, standing beside her, their expressions a mix of admiration and genuine respect. Even some of the students who had snickered on the first day were now listening intently, their faces thoughtful. When Anya finished, there was a moment of silence. Then Professor Hayes began to applaud, a slow, deliberate clap that quickly spread through the room. Callie and Cyrus joined in, their applause enthusiastic. The entire class, even those who had once laughed, was now applauding, a wave of genuine appreciation washing over Anya. Anya felt tears prick her eyes, but these were tears of overwhelming joy and relief. She had done it. She had not only overcome her fear, but she had commanded the respect of her peers, turning a moment of potential humiliation into a triumph of intellect and courage. After the presentation, Professor Hayes approached their group. An outstanding presentation, all of you, he said, his eyes lingering on Anya. Anya, your analysis was truly exceptional. You have a remarkable gift for literary criticism. Callie surprisingly spoke up. Anya really pulled us through, Professor. Her insights were incredible. Cyrus nodded in agreement. She basically structured the whole thing. We couldn't have done it without her. Anya felt a warmth spread through her. Their acknowledgement, unprompted, meant the world. If Anya's triumphant presentation and the genuine applause from her classmates are deeply moving you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. That evening, Anya called her parents, her voice brimming with excitement. I did it, Mom. Dad, the presentation went great. Everyone applauded. We knew you would, sweetie, Mrs. Thorne cheered. We're so incredibly proud of you. That's my girl, Mr. Thorne added, his voice thick with emotion. You never let anything stop you. Anya realized then that the broken chair, the initial humiliation, had not been an ending but a beginning. It had been the catalyst that forced her to confront her insecurities, to find her voice, and to discover a strength she never knew she possessed. She hadn't changed her size, but she had changed her perception of herself, and in doing so, She had changed how others perceived her. She was no longer just the shy plus-size student who broke a chair. She was Anya Coraline, a brilliant scholar, a confident speaker, a respected peer. The journey was far from over, but she had taken the most crucial steps. She had turned humiliation into motivation, proving that confidence wasn't about fitting into a mold, but about having the courage to stand tall, to speak her truth, and to shine brightly, no matter what challenges life threw her way. The canvas of her college life, once marred by a single painful crack, was now unfolding into a vibrant masterpiece of self-discovery and triumph. The applause that had filled the lecture hall after Anya Coraline's presentation was more than just a polite acknowledgement. It was a resounding affirmation. It echoed in her ears for days, a sweet melody replacing the discordant memory of the broken chair. The shy, plus-size student who had once whispered apologies now walked with a subtle, yet undeniable, new spring in her step. Her dark, expressive eyes, once quick to dart away, now met gazes with a quiet confidence. The blush that still sometimes crept up her cheeks was no longer solely from embarrassment, but often from the warmth of genuine connection or the thrill of intellectual engagement. Her success in Professor Lysander Hayes' class had a ripple effect. Her grades soared, reflecting her deep understanding and articulate expression. She found herself speaking up more often in other classes too, her insights consistently valued. The fear of being seen, of taking up space, was slowly being replaced by the quiet joy of contributing, of knowing her voice mattered. The dynamic with Callie Vance and Cyrus Sterling had transformed completely. What began as an academic alliance had blossomed into a genuine friendship. They often studied together, debated literary theories over coffee, and even shared jokes and personal anecdotes. Callie, once aloof, revealed a dry wit and a surprising vulnerability. Cyrus, with his easygoing charm, became a steadfast ally, often defending Anya subtly if he overheard any lingering, ignorant whispers from other students. One afternoon, as they were leaving the library, Callie turned to Anya. "You know, Anya," she began, a rare, earnest look on her face, "I was really awful to you at the beginning of the semester. That day with the chair, I was one of the ones who laughed. I'm really sorry." Anya stopped, surprised by the unexpected apology. "It's okay, Callie," she said softly. "It was a long time ago." "No, it's not okay," Callie insisted, shaking her head. "It was immature and unkind, and you've been nothing but brilliant and patient with us. You've taught me a lot, Anya. Not just about literature, but about not judging a book by its cover, I guess." She even managed a small, genuine smile. Cyrus, walking beside them, nodded. "She's right, Anya. You're one of the smartest people I know, and you've got more guts than anyone in that class. We were idiots." Anya felt a lump in her throat. Their apology, heartfelt and unsolicited, meant more than she could express. It wasn't just about forgiveness. It was about acceptance, about being seen for who she truly was, beyond the initial painful impression. "Thank you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "That means a lot. If Callie and Cyrus's genuine apology and the blossoming of true friendship are warming your heart, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories." Fiona Astor, of course, was ecstatic about Anya's new friendships and burgeoning confidence. "See? I told you they'd come around," she chirped, ever the optimist. "You're too amazing not to be seen, Anya." Anya's parents, Mr. Silas Thorne and Mrs. Maeve Thorne, continued to be her unwavering pillars of support. Their weekly calls were now filled with Anya's excited recounting of academic triumphs, new friendships, and the joy of intellectual discovery. They listened with immense pride, their initial concern about her adjustment to college replaced by pure delight in her transformation. "You're truly thriving, sweetie," Mrs. Thorne said during one call. "We always knew you would. You just needed to find your stride." "And you found it, Anya," Mr. Thorne added. "That broken chair? It's just a footnote now. You're writing a whole new story." The memory of the broken chair, once a source of acute embarrassment, had indeed begun to transform. It was no longer a symbol of shame, but a stark reminder of how far she had come, a quiet testament to her resilience. It was the moment that had forced her to choose, to shrink or to grow, and she had chosen to grow. Professor Hayes, recognizing Anya's exceptional talent and her newfound confidence, approached her after a particularly insightful class discussion. "Anya," he began, "the English department is hosting its annual undergraduate research symposium next semester. It's an opportunity for students to present original research to faculty and peers. I believe you have the potential to present a truly compelling paper. Have you considered it?" Anya's heart leaped. The undergraduate research symposium was a prestigious event, a platform for the university's brightest minds. The thought of presenting her own research, standing before an even larger, more critical audience, sent a familiar jolt of anxiety through her. But this time, it was mingled with an undeniable thrill. I hadn't thought about it, Professor," Anya admitted, her voice a little breathless. "Well, think about it," Professor Hayes encouraged, a warm smile on his face. "I have a few ideas for research topics that I believe would suit your analytical strengths. Come see me during office hours if you're interested." The invitation was a significant challenge, a step far beyond a class presentation. It meant independent research, rigorous academic writing, and a public defense of her ideas. It was daunting, but the idea sparked a fire within her. If Professor Hayes's mentorship and the exciting new challenge for Anya are captivating you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. Anya discussed the symposium with Fiona, Callie, and Cyrus. Fiona was immediately enthusiastic. "Anya, that's amazing. You absolutely have to do it." Callie, ever practical, offered, "It's a lot of work, Anya, but your analysis skills are top-notch. You'd nail it." Cyrus, always supportive, added, "We'll help you with anything you need, research, practice presentations, whatever." Their collective encouragement bolstered Anya's resolve. She decided to take the plunge. She met with Professor Hayes, who guided her towards a fascinating topic: the deconstruction of traditional heroic narratives in postmodern American fiction. It was a complex, intellectually stimulating subject that perfectly aligned with Anya's interests. The next few months were a whirlwind of intense research, late nights in the library, and countless drafts. Anya immersed herself in academic journals, critical essays, and obscure literary texts. She discovered a passion for academic inquiry that she never knew she possessed. The process was challenging, pushing her intellectual boundaries, but it was also incredibly rewarding. During this period, Anya continued her sessions with Ms. Evadne Reed, the student counselor. Ms. Reed became a sounding board for Anya's anxieties about the symposium, her fears of not being good enough, of once again being judged. "Anya," Ms. Reed observed during one session, "it's interesting how the fear of that broken chair still surfaces, isn't it? Even now, when you're excelling. It's like a ghost," Anya admitted, "a reminder of how easily I can be dismissed or laughed at." Ms. Reed nodded. "And what have you learned since then, Anya? What has this journey taught you about yourself?" Anya paused, reflecting. "I've learned that my voice matters, that my ideas have value, that my size doesn't define my intelligence or my worth, and that courage isn't about not being afraid, but about doing it anyway, even when you are." "Precisely," Ms. Reed smiled. "You're not trying to erase that memory, Anya. You're building a new narrative around it. You're showing yourself, and everyone else, that the girl who broke the chair is also the brilliant scholar who can stand up and captivate an audience with her mind. That's a powerful story. If Ms. Reed's insightful guidance and Anya's profound self-reflection are resonating with you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. As the symposium approached, Anya's confidence grew, tempered by a healthy dose of nerves. She practiced her presentation tirelessly, refining her arguments, perfecting her delivery. Callie and Cyrus often sat in, offering constructive criticism and unwavering encouragement. Fiona would bring her coffee and snacks, her presence a comforting anchor. One evening, as Anya was practicing in an empty classroom, she paused, looking at the sturdy wooden chairs. She remembered the splintered backrest, the humiliation, but this time, a faint smile touched her lips. She walked over to one of the chairs, carefully sat down, and then, with a quiet sense of triumph, stood up again. The chair remained intact. The memory was still there, but its power over her had diminished. It was just a chair. She was so much more. The day of the undergraduate research symposium arrived. The university auditorium was filled with faculty, students, and even some members of the public. Anya felt a familiar flutter in her stomach, but it was different now. Less fear, more exhilarating anticipation. Her parents, Mr. Silas Thorne and Mrs. Maeve Thorne, had driven down to support her, their faces beaming with pride as they took their seats in the front row. Fiona, Callie, and Cyrus were also there, offering encouraging smiles. Anya watched as other students presented their research, some confident, some nervous. When her name was called, Anya Coraline, presenting The Deconstruction of Traditional Heroic Narratives in Postmodern American Fiction. She walked to the podium with a steady gait. She took a deep breath, looked out at the audience, and saw Professor Hayes in the front row, his eyes filled with a quiet pride. She began her presentation, her voice clear and strong, filling the auditorium. She spoke with passion and authority, weaving together complex literary theories with compelling examples. She articulated her original arguments with precision, engaging the audience with her intellectual prowess. She answered questions from the faculty panel with grace and intelligence, defending her research with thoughtful, well-reasoned responses. As she spoke, Anya felt a profound sense of liberation. She wasn't just presenting a paper. She was sharing her mind, her passion, her unique perspective with the world. The girl who had once hidden in the back row, ashamed of her size, was now commanding the attention of an entire auditorium, not because of her physical presence, but because of the sheer power of her intellect and the unwavering courage of her spirit. If Anya's powerful presentation and her incredible transformation are deeply inspiring you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. When she finished, the auditorium erupted in applause. It was louder, more sustained, and even more heartfelt than the applause in her literature class. Professor Hayes stood, leading the ovation, his face alight with pride. Her parents were on their feet, tears streaming down Mrs. Thorne's face, Mr. Thorne beaming. Fiona, Callie, and Cyrus were cheering, their faces reflecting the immense pride they felt for their friend. Anya stood at the podium, a radiant smile on her face, accepting the applause. She had not only overcome her initial humiliation, but had transformed it into a catalyst for extraordinary growth. She had proven that confidence wasn't about size, but about courage. And by the end of the year, even those who might have once laughed were standing to applaud her, not just for her academic achievement, but for the inspiring journey of self-acceptance and triumph she had undertaken. Her presentation was a resounding success, earning her high praise from faculty and peers alike. Dr. Corin Kale, a renowned literary scholar and a guest lecturer at the symposium, approached Anya afterward, his eyes alight with admiration. "Ms. Coraline," Dr. Kale said, shaking her hand warmly, "that was an exceptional presentation. Your insights were truly original, and your delivery captivating. You have a remarkable future in academia, should you choose it." Anya felt a thrill of accomplishment. The shy, plus-size student who had broken a chair on her first day had not only found her voice, but had earned the respect and admiration of some of the brightest minds in her field. She had turned a moment of profound humiliation into the very foundation of her strength, proving that sometimes the greatest victories aren't won on the field, but within, in the unyielding heart that refuses to quit, no matter the odds. Her journey was a testament to the power of self-belief, a vibrant, unfolding canvas of courage and intellectual triumph. The thunderous applause that concluded Anya Coraline's presentation at the undergraduate research symposium reverberated through the auditorium, a symphony of triumph that washed over her. Standing at the podium, bathed in the warm glow of the stage lights, Anya felt a profound sense of peace settle within her. The girl who had once whispered apologies for a broken chair now commanded the attention and respect of an entire room, not through force, but through the sheer power of her intellect and the unwavering courage of her spirit. Her parents, Mr. Silas Thorne and Mrs. Maeve Thorne, rushed forward, their faces alight with pride, tears of joy streaming down Mrs. Thorne's cheeks. Fiona Astor, Callie Vance, and Cyrus Sterling joined them, their cheers and hugs a testament to the deep bonds forged through shared experiences and mutual respect. "You were incredible, Anya," Fiona exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "Absolutely brilliant. Seriously, Anya, Cyrus added, clapping her on the back. You blew everyone away. Even Dr. Kale looked stunned. Callie, usually more reserved, simply squeezed Anya's hand, a look of profound admiration in her eyes. You've inspired me, Anya, more than you know. The praise from Dr. Corin Kale, the renowned literary scholar, was the icing on the cake. His words about her remarkable future in academia resonated deeply, opening up a world of possibilities Anya had scarcely dared to dream of. The symposium wasn't just an academic achievement, it was a public declaration of her intellectual prowess, a definitive step out of the shadows of self-doubt. If Anya's triumphant moment and the overwhelming support from her loved ones are filling you with joy, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. The weeks following the symposium were a whirlwind. Professor Hayes, beaming with pride, became an even more dedicated mentor, guiding Anya towards graduate school applications and connecting her with other influential academics. Her paper was published in the university's undergraduate research journal, gaining wider recognition. She received invitations to speak at smaller campus events, sharing her research and, implicitly, her journey of overcoming adversity. Anya's confidence continued to flourish. She no longer saw her plus-size frame as a hindrance, but simply as a part of who she was, a strong, capable woman. She started dressing with more self-assurance, choosing clothes that celebrated her figure rather than trying to conceal it. She embraced her body, understanding that its shape had no bearing on her intelligence, her kindness, or her ability to make a profound impact on the world. Her transformation also had a noticeable effect on her friends. Callie, inspired by Anya's courage, began to shed some of her own guardedness, opening up more to her peers and pursuing her academic interests with renewed vigor. Cyrus, always supportive, found himself reflecting on his own initial judgments and became a more empathetic and inclusive individual. Fiona, already a beacon of positivity, found even more reasons to champion Anya and her message of self-acceptance. One afternoon, Anya found herself in Ms. Evadna Reed's office, not for counseling, but to thank her. Ms. Reed, Anya began, I wanted to thank you. Your guidance, your belief in me. It made all the difference. Ms. Reed smiled, her eyes warm. Anya, you did all the work. I simply helped you see the strength that was already within you. You turned a moment of profound humiliation into a powerful catalyst for growth. That's a testament to your incredible character. It wasn't easy, Anya admitted, a faint smile on her face. That broken chair felt like the end of the world that day. And now? Ms. Reed prompted gently. Anya paused, a thoughtful expression on her face. Now, it's just a chair, a reminder of where I started, but not where I am. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most painful moments can lead to the greatest transformations. If Ms. Reed's wisdom and Anya's profound self-realization are resonating with you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. As her senior year approached, Anya was accepted into several prestigious graduate programs, a testament to her academic excellence and the glowing recommendations from Professor Hayes and Dr. Kale. She chose to pursue her PhD in comparative literature, eager to delve deeper into the narratives that shaped human understanding. Her journey, however, wasn't just about academic success. It was about using her voice, her story, to make a difference. She became an active participant in campus discussions on body positivity and inclusivity, sharing her experiences with vulnerability and strength. She spoke at student orientation events, encouraging new students to embrace their authentic selves and to never let external judgments define their worth. During one such orientation, Anya stood before a packed auditorium of nervous freshmen, a stark contrast to the shy girl who had once hidden in the back row. She began her speech, her voice clear and confident. I remember my first day of college, she started, a wry smile playing on her lips. I walked into my literature class, full of nerves and excitement, and then I broke a chair. A ripple of nervous laughter spread through the audience. Anya paused, letting the sound settle, then continued. Yes, I broke a chair, and in that moment, I felt like the world was ending. I felt humiliated, exposed, and utterly alone. I thought everyone was laughing at me, judging me, dismissing me because of my size. She looked out at the sea of young faces, some wide-eyed, some nodding in recognition. For a long time, that broken chair was a symbol of my deepest insecurities. It was a reminder of every time I felt I wasn't good enough, wasn't small enough, wasn't right enough. If Anya's powerful message and her courage to share her story are inspiring you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. But here's what I learned, Anya continued, her voice gaining a passionate intensity. I learned that a broken chair, or any perceived flaw, doesn't define you. It's just a moment. What defines you is what you do after that moment. Do you shrink away, or do you stand up? Do you let the laughter silence you, or do you find your voice and speak your truth? She paused, letting her words sink in. I chose to stand up. I chose to find my voice. I chose to prove, not to anyone else, but to myself, that my intelligence, my kindness, my courage, and my heart were far more significant than any broken piece of furniture. I learned that confidence isn't about fitting into a mold. It's about having the courage to be authentically, unapologetically you. So, to all of you, as you embark on your own college journeys, Anya concluded, her gaze sweeping across the room, I urge you, embrace your unique strengths. Don't let fear or judgment hold you back. And if you ever break a chair or stumble, or feel like you're not enough, remember that sometimes the greatest victories aren't won on the field, but within. They're won when you choose to never quit on yourself, because your story, your unique, beautiful story, is worth telling, and your voice, no matter how soft, deserves to be heard. The auditorium erupted in applause, a standing ovation that was even more profound than the one at the symposium. This wasn't just for her academic prowess. It was for her vulnerability, her resilience, and her inspiring message. Students rushed forward afterward, eager to thank her, to share their own stories of insecurity, finding solace and strength in her words. If Anya's powerful message of self-acceptance and her ability to inspire others are deeply moving you, please show your support by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement helps us continue to share these powerful and uplifting stories. Anya Coraline went on to excel in her graduate studies, becoming a respected scholar and a beloved professor. She continued to write, to teach, and to speak, always advocating for inclusivity, empathy, and the celebration of diverse voices. Her academic work often explored themes of identity, representation, and the power of narrative, drawing deeply from her own lived experiences. She never forgot the broken chair. It remained a quiet, powerful symbol, not of shame, but of the pivotal moment that had ignited her transformation. It was the day she decided to change how the world saw her, but more importantly, how she saw herself. She had turned humiliation into motivation, proving that confidence isn't about size, it's about courage. And by the end of her journey, she had not only earned the applause of many, but had built an unshakable foundation of self-worth that would empower her, and countless others, for a lifetime. Her story became a testament to the profound truth that sometimes the most unexpected stumbles can lead to the most extraordinary leaps, and that an unyielding heart, even a shy one, can truly change the world. What an incredibly powerful and inspiring conclusion to Anya's journey. If her story of turning humiliation into triumph, finding her voice, and inspiring countless others has deeply moved you, please show your support. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs a dose of inspiration, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more powerful and uplifting stories like this one. Your engagement helps us continue to create content that celebrates the human spirit. Thank you for watching.